Democrats love to tax the people and regulate every aspect of their lives to stop global warming. It has not amounted to anything because they cannot stop the biggest polluters on the planet. This is first grade biology, so try to stay with me. Plants take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. By planting trees, it takes CO2 out of the air. President Trump joined the Trillion Trees campaign to fight the carbon in the atmosphere. Something that would actually do some good. The Democrats are fighting the bill because it does not control people's lives enough. It apparently needs to control fossil fuels among other regulatory means. As I said a moment ago, Democrats love to tax the people and regulate every aspect of their lives to stop global warming. The abortion giant will continue to be cut off from funds for the foreseeable future. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has upheld the ruling to cut off Title X funding to abortionists and allowed the HHS to continue to enforce it. Abortionists will be cut off from certain amounts of federal funding to continue their business of killing babies. Since they kill off their potential clients, they are losing the funding, and now they will not be able to deal in human tissue. It will be even harder for these butchers to operate. I do not want to be too optimistic, but we are going to see a change very soon. This is America's longest-running war. So long, in fact, that a father who left his newborn son behind can now be fighting alongside his son. The United States will agree to pull out 13,000 troops on the condition that the Taliban sever all ties with Al-Qaeda. Whether or not they will do this is a big if. The first roadblock is already present: releasing Taliban prisoners. This is a big part of it, and the Afghan president says that the United States cannot make this deal as it is under their jurisdiction. The only thing needed for a boy to sexually assault a girl in the bathroom is to just say that he is a girl. In 2017, the Family Research Council compiled 21 incidents of this, including men that set up cameras. It only logically follows that by this point, the number of incidents has increased drastically in the name of tolerance. You do not leave the front door unlocked for the same reason that you have separate bathrooms. Only certain people are supposed to come in. A Wisconsin school was forced to shut down its gender-neutral bathroom after a boy exposed himself to another child. These bathrooms were required by law, even in churches, lest the organization or business be fined. This is not the first instance, and it will not be the last. How many more go unreported out of fear of being transphobic? Carl Goldman stayed on the Diamond Princess, while he and the rest of the passengers were isolated for fear of spreading the coronavirus. He was declared affected by the virus but had fewer symptoms than if he had had a cold. He is 69 years old and experienced almost no symptoms. Last week, I mentioned that the survival rate was 99% for healthy adults, but this number just includes those who have been diagnosed. The real survival rate is likely much higher. This is backed by medical experts who agree that most people will get little more than sniffles and a sore throat. Democrats are using this to attack Trump and claim that it is going to crash the economy. Not only did this virus clear the streets of Hong Kong protesters, it is being used to attack President Trump without evidence. Are we scaring ourselves to death? President Trump called for a 1-year payroll tax cut. Naturally, Democrats will not support it because that would make the president look good. Most people will not notice the difference, but it will allow more people to keep their money rather than it being stolen from them. What is the difference between theft and taxation? One is done by a criminal, and the other is by a criminal employed by the government. Bloomberg, despite spending $570 million on his campaign, lost miserably. Only Touchy-Feely Joe and Comrade Sanders are left. Meanwhile, the fake news is reeling over the fact that they have a very real chance of electing a socialist. They will probably snub him again in exchange for someone who does not know what job he is running for.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look, though, okay? That's all I've really got to say to you.
Someone who cannot tell the difference between his wife and sister.
By the way, this is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, this is Val, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me.
And someone who believes that it is okay to sniff children.
By the way, you know, I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach into the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
I am starting to think that he is having early signs of dementia. It is very possible the Supreme Court will hear the first major abortion case since Trump's latest Supreme Court appointments. The case in question is whether or not doctors in Louisiana have a place to challenge state regulations restricting abortion. Quite frankly, I am confused. I thought Democrats loved to regulate every aspect of our lives, but not this. Anywho, one of the rules is modeled after the great state of Texas and requires abortion mills to have admitting privileges at local hospitals. That does make sense, but...
We do not do that. We never do that. Think about all the protesters outside. You call an ambulance and there's a picture of that in the papers. 911 calls are recorded. They can be made public, and there's no way in hell I'm going to allow that to happen.
She could die. And then if she doesn't die,
she is not going to die, and she's not going to remember any of this. We use a very strong combination of medication. Even when we wake her up, she won't remember any of this. See? Everything's under control.
The real problem is that abortionists realize how dangerous the procedure is, and they just do not want anyone to know. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer took time out of his busy schedule of meddling in people's lives and raising taxes to threaten Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Anyone who is listening to this can tell that he is not trying to open debate or say there will be political consequences. Either way, a judge is not supposed to worry about the politics of his decision. He is just supposed to rule fairly and justly based on the facts. Therefore, if Schumer was trying to tell them to worry about the politics and what the people would do, he is telling judges to be biased in their decision-making. This is highly unethical. Officially, he walked it back, saying that it was being misconstrued. Chief Justice Roberts even had to issue a statement. All of this in warning them not to interfere with reproductive rights and the right to kill children on a whim. Pornhub, amongst a number of other websites, get many of the individuals via human trafficking. Protesters will be outside their headquarters in response to them having a 15-year-old girl in a video. The protesters are calling for the website to be shut down, amid them profiting from human trafficking as well. Further calls are going to legislative officials to investigate this site, amongst others. We have rejected God's design for humanity and are slowly falling deeper into depravity. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion.